Hey there, welcome to the 4 to 5. Eric Chilton here with Chad Silbert and Lauren Coleman.
Hey everybody, happy Friday. If you're watching us on air, online, WFOY News 2 at Fire Stick Roku, so many ways to watch us.
And got that down.
And we have some fun stuff coming up today. Movie critic Manning Franks is back in the house with us.
I'm excited about that.
Today he's going to be reviewing a movie, but he's also going to be taking your questions about this specific movie or really any movie. So join us throughout the next hour and we will catch up with him. But first today, Friday football fever, high school. It's back. The fun, the rivalries, and Friday nights under the lights. We're also talking safety and other angles this half hour, but let's start with the return of Friday football fever and our game of the week. Dudley versus Page. WFMY News 2's Amanda Ferguson is live at Page High School with a preview. Hey, Amanda.
Hey Chad, another high school football season getting ready to start here at Page tonight. This is our game of the week. Page hosting Dudley. Now the Pirates are preparing to face a really tough team, the 3A defending state champions. It's a tough task, but head coach Doug Robertson says this will be a good way to measure the team early on. His guys say they're going to be better this year, and Dudley says they're a team that'll be just as good.
You can see we really grinding. You can see that we've been in the weight room. You can tell the difference from the COVID year and then last year, we should be way more physical, faster. We had a lot of guys out here doing track. So we're just going to be a way better team. We're going to run hard. We're going to play defense. You're going to see 11 hats to the ball. We're going to pass the ball. We're just going to execute.
Expect a whole lot, but we're going to be the same, maybe a little bit better. More explosive from offense, same team. Coming off state championship, ready to go back to back, so it's very excited for me.
I don't know if you can tell, but we're starting to see a little sprinkles here at Page. That's why they moved up this game, because of the weather tonight, just in case. So now Page and Dudley will kick off here at Page High School at 6:30 tonight. We will be here for all of your coverage, and we'll have those highlights for you and others across the Triad coming up tonight at 11:17.
Very exciting, and it looks like you got something
Look at
special
that.
over
Look
there,
at this.
Chad.
I'm going to run all the way up to the camera. You see
Friday
that?
football fever. Nice.
So the cool thing this year, they told us they're going to be throwing these towels out at all of the games that we go to.
So News 2 towels.
News 2 towels at all of the games that our photographers go to. They'll be throwing them into the stands. So
perfect golf towels too.
Yeah,
that's exactly what
absolutely.
I think.
Good workout towel too.
And this time of year, yeah, you can dab a little sweat, you know, on that one.
I might need to get me one.
Right, you want it?
Yeah,
Here, you can have it. You can have it.
You take that. She scored big time. Everybody's so excited about it. By the way, a couple of sprinkles. Amanda's right. I just want to say this before we get to weather later in the block, but it's not going to be a washout by any stretch.
Good.
If you get a sprinkle, it won't last long and not much out there, so we'll be okay.
And I think there were several games last night, maybe up to 7 of them, that had moved from today to yesterday because of the potential for weather. So maybe our team won't be as rushed around because there won't be as many games today.
Better to be safe than sorry.
That's exactly right, and we're looking in good shape. So go to those games and enjoy.
And if you are going to those games, you should know some Triad school districts have new security measures during football games. For example, Winston-Salem Forsyth started a clear bag policy last year. Items like backpacks and large purses are not allowed, but clear gallon-sized plastic storage bags and small purses are fine. Lexington City Schools has a clear bag policy for all athletic events. Elements Burlington will have law enforcement at every game.
In less than 2 weeks, most Triad students will be back in the classroom, but some student athletes, they're already back on the field or training in the gym with their teammates. Health experts say there are several ways to keep athletes healthy and safe this season. Dr. Jennifer Harvey is a family medicine and sports medicine provider at Navant Health. She says she sees more overuse injuries this time of year.
Towards the beginning of the seasons, we see more overuse injuries from especially older athletes who perhaps have not participated in sport for a little while and then are jumping in full force to their football or soccer seasons, or maybe they're a little more sedentary or less active over the summer and spring.
Dr. Harvey says it's important student athletes remain active throughout the year. She recommends kids try a variety of sports to help prevent the overuse of specific body parts and burnout.
So if you have a pitcher who just pitches and they're throwing all year round, they're going to get overuse injuries of their shoulder or elbow. But if you have a kid that pitches in the spring, plays football in the fall, basketball in the winter, it really kind of improves their conditioning and athleticism overall.
In addition to staying hydrated and taking ample breaks during practice, Dr. Harvey says it's important to let children dictate their own objectives and desires. She says pushing a child beyond their limits can also lead to injury and burnout. That is a huge one. I didn't think about that when I thought about athletic safety. When it comes to children, you always think about drinking and taking breaks, but she really talked about the importance of letting kids decide. You know, you have those parents that are like, you're going to play this sport from 3 all the way to 23 and that's it. And she says you're actually not using certain parts of your body when you do that to children.
I've seen this firsthand, you know, raising my kids, and you go to these little league games and whatever, basketball games, and you can tell the parents that are just pushing them so hard. And I always, it's none of my business, so I can't say anything, but I always sit there and think it's not fair for them, because there are some kids that they like it, but they don't love it. And the odds of your kid going to the professionals,
right,
0.1% or something. So we need to take a break and just take it easy on the kids.
And some kids just want to have fun. They just want to be a part of the team. They're not necessarily looking to go D1 or go to college. It's great if you are, absolutely, but that's not everybody's objective or goal.
Right, and oftentimes you'll find that it's the parents who were also the athletes in school pushing their kids, because either they want them to fulfill a dream that they never got to, or they want them to follow in their footsteps.
The money.
Fortunately for me, my parents were very supportive. You know, when I was playing sports, if I didn't want to play it anymore, they'd say, well, we spent a bunch of money on it. That's one reason we don't want you to quit. But, you know, we don't want to force you to do something you don't want to do.
We tell our kids that if you start it, you have to finish the season.
And that's how my family was too. I played all types of sports. I did basketball, I did soccer, gymnastics, cheerleading, and when I got older, they were like, okay, you need to pick a sport. So I picked track and field, and that's what I did throughout high school. But they were the same. I remember I wanted to quit basketball one year because I wasn't that good, and they said, Coleman's don't quit. And then my mom said, I spent too much on those basketball shoes.
Right, exactly.
You are not about to get off of the team.
We've had some of our younger ones who will play like half the seasons. I think I'm done. No, you're not done. I said, you made a promise, a commitment, and whether you're riding the bench or whatever, you got to be there for the season.
And there's such a good lesson in that. I mean,
it is.
Not even just with sports, but just in life in general.
It is a true life lesson too.
Right.
Sports can teach you a lot about life
can.
if you handle it
Absolutely.
right. I
Discipline,
love
all
Coleman's
of that.
Don't Quit.
Yeah, my dad said, Coleman's
don't
don't quit. My mom said, those basketball shoes, those Jordans I got you, they cost too much
Dad's
money.
military. He wasn't putting up with any quitting. That's right.
Well, throughout the back to school season, we are focusing on the stories that matter to parents the most. Let us know any concerns or questions you'd like us to cover. Just text the word survey to this number, 336-379-5775, and we'll respond with a link to our parent survey.
All right, time now for your 4 to 5 roundup. First up today, Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools is holding a meeting next Tuesday to share new safety plans. Some of the measures include walk-through metal detectors at middle and high schools and a new emergency response method. Tuesday's 10 a.m. meeting is at East Forsyth High School. 2 teenagers are in jail accused of shooting a child 3 times. Winston-Salem police arrested an 18-year-old and a 19-year-old. Both are charged with 3 felonies. Police say the pair shot into a car on Brandomere Lane, hitting a juvenile. The child is expected to recover. The Wake County deputy killed in the line of duty was laid to rest today. A horse-drawn wagon carried the casket of Ned Bird through a sea of law enforcement in Raleigh this morning. Bird was a K-9 officer who'd been with the sheriff's office for 13 years. Earlier this week, police arrested 2 men in connection to Bird's death.
Our forecast looking a little bit better as far as at least coverage of showers. We've talked about the rain and the possibility of that heading into this evening and really in the weekend in general, but a lot of the rain staying a little bit further south and east, and we won't argue with that, just some light sprinkles. But 77 in Greensboro right now. These temperatures are great. 78 High Point, 77 Asheboro, Burlington at 79. Greensboro's a little cooler because we had a couple of showers out there. Amanda was testifying to that. 80 degrees in Winston-Salem and 83 in Walnut Cove. So a little bit of rain. We'll show you the radar in a second, but tonight overnight lows in the upper 60s. We think highs tomorrow around 83. Chance of a late day shower or storm again. I mean, it's still summer, right? So we have to deal with that for a little bit. There are a couple of showers moving through. Some down toward the Sanford area too. That'll be moving more toward the Triangle, but over our area, right through the heart of Greensboro goes this one shower. But again, that's light, probably not even moderate rain there, just some light rain from Pleasant Garden through Greensboro and heading up to Reedsville right along Highway 29. All that is drifting to the north and to the east a little bit, but you get the idea. The majority of the heavier precipitation is staying to the south. Doesn't mean we won't get it. We'll see some rain out there, but it may not be as widespread as, say, what we were talking about the last couple of days. Low pressure is the culprit here. That moves on to the east, again, hugging the coast a little bit more, so we'll be on the backside of that. Secondary front will come through probably Monday. We're thinking this may be a during the day Monday situation, so we may bring rain chances up a smidge for that time period, but temperatures are good all the way across the board. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast as we go with your weekend, Saturday and Sunday. That's some lower 80s for you right there, 83 and 82 for those 2 days. Rain chances Saturday, not as bad with that low hugging the coast. That's a 30% chance. Sunday, 40%. Monday tops us out at 50% chance of rain and a cooler high of 80. We go back to the low to mid 80s next week, and that's a typical summertime pattern. Partly cloudy, 83 to 85 with a slight late day shower or storm chance. The son, the founder of Motown.
Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am here. Hello. Hello.
What do you get when you cross rich 20-somethings with a decked-out mansion in the woods? A wild night.
In the movie Bodies, 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 a night of fun turns deadly when backstabbing friends get together for a party gone wrong. While this might sound thrilling, will our Manning freaks agree? Let's find out.
Building and maintaining friendships in this digital age can certainly be difficult, and it's even harder to maintain those friendships when one of your friends is a potential murderer, you're all trapped inside of a house with no power, and then of course there's a hurricane going on outside. Yeah, not exactly a healthy environment for friendships to truly thrive. Thankfully, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies blends social satire and thrills in this whodunit dark comedy that is sure to be a twisted fun time at the movies.
If you come across a body, you have to yell, "Body, body, body!" Wow. Is that the lights? David? Our friend is dead.
In Bodies, 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 a wealthy group of 20-somethings decide to ride out a hurricane together while isolated in one of their mansions. With the storm barreling on them, the friends decide to play Bodies, 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 a game where a killer is chosen and the others must uncover who that individual is. Yet as the night goes on, the game turns into reality as literal bodies begin to appear and distrust forms between the group.
That would be so obvious if I were the killer.
Resulting in chaos where no one is safe. Refreshingly original as it is reminiscent of established slasher tropes, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies succeeds in two main things: its humor and its thrills. The writing seamlessly blends the two together, to where one second you're on the verge of your heart about to burst out of your chest, and the next, the tongue-in-cheek social satire of the film makes you burst from uncontrollable laughter.
Relax, relax. You're silencing me!
The uncouth and unapologetic nature of the film really shines through with that deadly combo. Thanks to a wonderful cast that includes Amanda Stenberg, Maria Bakalova, Pete Davidson, and so many more, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies gives you just enough with these colorful characters to grow attached to them, yet also always question their motivations and identity. It's a superficial relationship that they all have with each other, and that is paralleled wonderfully with the audience's own relationship to the characters in the film. That exploited ambiguity is sure to keep you guessing as to the killer's identity until the final frame. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies also surprises with how it manages to provide some overt, yet still smart commentary on current digital age friendships that we currently see in both Gen Z and millennial culture, while still playing with those traditional whodunit expectations. It's both efficient and effective, and it thrills. I loved it. I'm giving Bodies, Bodies, Bodies a 2 approved, approved, approved. You can find this film only in theaters.
And we have a special treat for you, Manning Franks. He's joining us in the studio
He's
today.
real.
Yes, I am. I'm not just a person in the camera.
Right. So I was kind of surprised by your review here.
How so? Yes.
Because just by the sounds of the movie, it sounds too cheesy.
I was thinking
like,
too much
Scream.
bloody and gore. Like, is it actually
Well,
scary?
there's got to be something.
Yes, it is scary. Before, behind the scenes, you were saying, oh, it's like Scream. It's exactly in the vein of like a Scream from the 90s.
Okay.
But it kind of brings that back with how it plays your expectations of, oh, who done it? Who is it? But also, it's kind of silly and funny at the same time because they're kind of over-the-top characters, but it really works.
So is it one of those movies where when something scary happens, it follows with some like comedic humor just to not make you as scared while watching it?
Yes, but it's not just kind of like joke, laugh, joke, laugh. It's more like there's kind of some commentary behind it where you heard someone says, oh, stop it, you're silencing me. Because these are 20-something-year-olds who are kind of like rich and maybe a little affluent, but you know.
Gen Zers.
Gen Zers,
Are they,
very much so.
jump scares, like legitimate jump scares?
A couple, but it's more like the overarching dread that you feel as you're like, who could it be? Because no one is safe. Literally, the main character, she could be the one. She could be the murderer. We don't know.
So were you surprised, or can you figure it out?
I was surprised, honestly,
Oh, wow,
with how it
okay.
ended.
Wow.
So I do enjoy movies like this, but is this a movie you should go see with someone else, or are you okay watching it by yourself?
You can watch it by yourself.
I could see Lauren
you
like
can.
holding on to somebody. Like,
Yes, I'm the one going to be jumping all over you like, oh my God.
Everyone is piling there.
Climbing
No,
up.
it is a group setting. It works
Okay.
best when you're at because it's a comedy too, you know?
Right.
I like the
Laughing
funny
is-
part of horror movies. I mean,
Yes.
it is kind of, you have to laugh. I mean, because all of it's far-fetched, but you have to, what do they say, suspend your disbelief when you
Yeah.
get in
Have
there.
to in
Yes.
this one in a little bit because they're kind of silly, the characters.
And so he's going to be hanging around here for a while. So he's going to
Yes.
be in the Facebook chat. So come and say hello to him. Ask him any questions. We do have one question, kind of along the lines of scary movies, maybe. Somebody's wondering what you thought of Medea Halloween.
Oh.
I didn't see it. Okay, that's it.
Which one is this, like Boo 1, 2, or 3?
Yes,
There's so
that's
many
right,
of them.
That's right. Well, and he can answer questions about any movie. It doesn't have to be about this one. So
All right,
put
yep.
those questions in, let us know. All right, we'll take a break. We'll see you in a bit.
It's gonna
We're turning the volume down a little bit on rain chances for tonight and for Saturday, really. Sunday, a slightly better chance, and I think we probably peak from the rain chance situation on Monday. We'll take it on a Monday. We want our weekends back, and we've changed the forecast in a good way. 77 for Greensboro, 78 High Point. Winston-Salem, you're at 80 right now, 80 in Reedsville. The reason we're seeing Asheboro and Greensboro slightly cooler, in some cases 4 or 5 degrees cooler than, say, Yanceyville or Walnut Cove, is because that's where the rain has been today. A couple of scattered showers across the area. Overall, though, these temperatures pretty much right where they should be, just a little bit on the cool side for this time of the year. If you look at the forecast for tonight, that low only gets down to about 67. Just a few storms, otherwise partly cloudy skies. 83 tomorrow with an isolated late day storm, but our rain chances on Saturday probably just around a 30%, really not all that impressive. A couple of showers in the mountain communities, and we've seen this one shower move through parts. That's Asheboro and then through Greensboro, now headed north and east. So I would say heading back up closer to, say, Reedsville and just east of Reedsville, and it is drifting north and east. The majority of this misses us because the high pressure decides to hug the coast instead of staying over us. So let's go with an 83-degree high tomorrow, 30% chance of a late day shower. It's 40% Sunday, and then Monday we top out at 50% with that cooler high of 80. Looking into next week, it's back to normal. A few degrees cooler, really no heat here, so we're no arguing with it. But 83, 84 Tuesday, Wednesday, 20% chance of late day shower storm. Thursday, Friday, bring it up to a normal 30% and a high of 85.
All right, here we are. Hey, Facebook, how's it going, everybody? Manning Franks, as you know, is back.
Manning, I want to see the movie Nope. I haven't seen it yet, but everybody's talking about how great it is. That is on my list to see in the theater before it's too late.
Cashews?
Yeah.
It's that good. It's visually also, I think, really. How are you with scary movies?
Oh,
This is the thing.
great.
I
So I
enjoy
have to put it back?
scary movies, but I am one of the. But I have to watch like a Disney movie after to cleanse my mind.
A palate cleanser.
Yeah.
I like to watch them in the daytime, not at night.
Yeah, and it's.
I don't ever like to
will
watch
sleep
them.
with the light. Like when I saw Paranormal Activity, I stayed up all night. I slept with the light on. That one kind of anything dealing with like spirits and all that kind of stuff.
I agree.
That does scare me. But gory things, I'm not really like fazed by that.
Let me tell you.
But based on true events, like I don't.
Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
That's got me.
Yeah, that one got me.
And I would say I would think about that movie as I was falling asleep every single night for the next 6 months.
So you
Because
know,
I sometimes when I think about it, I have to put it out of my
That got
mind.
me.
remember the attic part?
No, I don't
but you
wanna
know how
talk about
some
it.
rooms have that little attic
Yeah, that
box?
push
My
door.
room at home had that.
no.
And so I was just like scared.
Oh, here.
Oh,
No,
Eric.
yeah, I'm not in this.
Oh.
We were all like,
And it was so bad that when they came out with Paranormal Activity 2, when they would have
saw that one
commercials,
too.
previews on TV, I would have to mute it and look away because I was so, it just got me
so we're looking at
at 4.
4. Okay.
So do you, so here.
Yep, perfect.
Someone switcheroo.
I'll floor direct.
Manning, how are you feeling? This is your second one now.
It's so
Have you-
much easier.
Yeah.
So much easier. than the
Killing
first
it,
time.
blessing the crowd with your luscious
Blessing.
locks.
My luscious locks need a trim.
Love that.
Locks need a trim. I'm sorry.
I love them.
Why are you apologizing?
Because they're a lot. It's like they can have their own zip.
The magical mane.
Okay, bye. Welcome back to the 4 to 5 WFMY movie critic. Manning Franks is here chatting with you in the Facebook feed. What kind of questions are you getting?
Well, the first one that I saw really was, and we talked about it right before, it was the Blair Witch Project. What are your thoughts on the Blair Witch Project? It's a found footage. If you like found footage film, which is basically if you have the camera, like think of that camera we're looking at right now.
Okay.
Someone took it and kind of shook it all over the
Right.
place as we are kind of taking our cell phone almost in a way camcorder back then. What are my thoughts on it? I genuinely think it is one of the quintessential horror films. It's not my cup of tea, but it's terrifying because literally it looks like, you know, you're
Yeah.
in where they are right now.
Okay. I actually have not seen the Blair Witch
Really?
Project. I
Okay.
hear people reference it all the time, but
Terrifying.
What within the last year, what would you say is your favorite movie that you've seen?
Like just in this past
In the
year.
last year.
Within 2022 or
Yeah.
2021?
Whatever.
Okay. Well, I reviewed it here actually. It's Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's kind of like that one starring Michelle Yeoh, where she kind of traverses through multiverses. I think, no bells ringing?
I
No
might
idea.
not have
I
been here
reviewed
that
it. Yeah,
day.
I reviewed it. It is there. Go back on our
on-
YouTube.
I was on
channel.
vacation.
But it is a genuinely heartfelt, kind of bonkers film that kind of has, it wears its heart on its sleeve, but it is kind of weird to the point where she's traversing through multiple past selves, multiple timelines of herself. Ultimately, it's a story of family, of love, of finding yourself, but in a really weird kind of lens. But I really love that.
what about a film that you weren't too, into that you reviewed?
That I wasn't too into. I mean, the recent one. The
Crawdads?
Eric's saying over there, yes, it is
Okay.
Doctor Strange, but also Crawdads. I did
Okay.
not care for Crawdads, but I never read the book, so I'm not sure how much of the adaptation it was faithful to at the end of the day.
When you critique movies, do you also then pay attention to what other critics say after you critique them?
Oh, of course. It's like a kind of a group in a way. You want to see what your friends are saying, what other people are saying, to be like, how close am I to where everyone else is? And of course, not letting it dictate what your opinion is, but just kind of getting a general
Right.
idea of where you lie in the grand scheme of things.
Very
Alrighty.
cool.
Well, we're going to be with Manning throughout the show. He's going to chime in a little bit.
Right here.
So put all your questions about movies, shows in the chat. We'll be right back.
Mic check, Jalen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm on the way. Mic check, Jalen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. Manning's been so much fun
He
today.
has.
hasn't he?
Yes, and I mean, it's making, not that the show drags on, but I mean, it always flies by when he's here.
Yeah, and you can join us.
No, I love the show. I love being here.
Not that this show is us pulling it behind me like this.
But Fridays are a lot of fun.
That's
Right,
true.
absolutely. Right.
And we're having a lot of fun on Facebook as well, so you can chime in the chat, ask Manning any movie questions, TV questions that you have.
What's a question that you would want to ask him?
So I've already asked him this, so I'm just saying what I think other people, because Manning and I spend a lot of time together. We shoot stories almost every day. But I've always asked him his top 5 favorite movies, and I love to hear why, because he's so smart about this stuff, and it just goes whoosh, half of it over my head.
Or ask him what movies are underrated
Yes,
that a lot of people don't talk about that we should probably
That's a
check
better
out
one.
ourselves.
I want to know what's the worst movie he has ever seen.
Ever. I know mine.
ever.
I got a lot on my list about those.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so you can ask him in the chat, and we're going to be talking about it coming up.
Well, we're going to get things started with your 4 to 5 roundup with some of your headlines. Right now, we are on the verge of learning more about the search of former President Donald Trump's Florida home. A judge gave the DOJ less than a week to submit a redacted version of the affidavit authorizing the search. Several news and outlets and lawmakers are calling for more transparency, while others question the impact it will have on the investigation.
I think we can look forward to discovering a few more tantalizing details and context. For the most part, we're not going to see the core of what we're all very interested in.
Recent court documents suggest the former president could face charges for hiding government records and interfering with a federal investigation. Whether that happens or not, officials plan on releasing the full unredacted affidavit once the investigation is over. Right now, the White House is making extra monkeypox vaccines available to places with upcoming Pride events. Health officials say cities and states will get 50,000 doses across the next 2 months. Greensboro Pride is set for September 18th. We reached out to the state health department to see if those extra doses are coming soon. We'll let you know when we hear back.
The state's weekly COVID spread map isn't showing much difference this week. This was our state's map last week. You can see lots of orange in the Triad, the highest level of spread. Alamance County was in the yellow, medium level, and Caswell was in the green, the lowest level. Now this is the new map. Caswell is now in yellow. All other counties held steady. Alamance is still yellow. Guilford, Forsyth, Randolph, Davidson, and Rockingham are all in orange, the highest level of spread. High school football is back. Some Triad school districts have new security measures during football games. For example, Winston-Salem Forsyth started a clear bag policy last year. Items like backpacks and large purses are not allowed, but clear gallon-sized plastic storage bags and small purses are fine. Lexington City Schools has a clear bag policy for all athletic events, and Alamance Burlington will have law enforcement at every game.
All right, we're talking about a couple of showers here. There really is more spotty shower activity than anything else. We're not seeing major shower activity, not yet. That may be more of a Sunday night, Monday situation, but until then, we're looking at this. And by the way, temperatures upper 70s to low 80s across the Triad. Most of the rain stays to the south. In fact, if you go down toward Benson, which is south of Raleigh and Fayetteville area, they're seeing more rain down there than we're seeing. A couple of showers move through Guilford County now going into northern Alamance. You see that pushing there. That's heading up toward Caswell County. Reedsville had a little bit of rain, but most of this is just really light and scattered across the region. The center of circulation with that low pressure really remains coastal more than anything else. So from the triangle onto the coast and not the Triad, that's where we're seeing most of the rain. That'll pull to the north. We have a second cold front probably getting here Monday. That's why Monday's shower chances go up to about a 50%, and that's the strongest shower chance that we see anywhere in our 7-day forecast. Here's that 7 days. We look at the weekend. Not bad. Rain chances now Saturday dropping down to only a 30% chance. It's a 40% on Sunday, and you see that high going all the way down to 80 by Monday. Monday, a 50-50 shot of rain, and the next week is more normal. Partly cloudy skies, 83, 84. Tuesday, Wednesday, only a slight 30% chance of a late-day shower storm. That's Thursday, Friday. Highs build to 85. By then, our normal high is 87.
We are just hours from the Carolina Panthers' second preseason game. Carolina is up against the New England Patriots right here on your official home of the Carolina Panthers. Tonight's 7 p.m. game comes on the heels of several fights between the teams during practice this week. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey has a closer look at those incidents and how they could impact the game.
Yeah, Chad, I'm going to be honest with you. Fights in training camp, they happen every year. Now, some you hear about and some you don't. And the times you do hear about them is during the joint practice sessions like we saw last week, where teams are practicing against each other for the entirety of the week. Now, 2 days ago, this video, you might have seen it right here. It made the rounds on social media as things heated up in Foxborough during day 3 of the Panthers and Patriots joint practices. Now, I'm not usually one to make a big deal out of these type of things or these events because let's put ourselves in the athlete's positions here, right? If your team made the playoffs, the prior season, then it's been 8 months since you've been able to get physical with someone else that's not on your team. And if your team didn't, like the Panthers, then it's been 10 months since you last were able to hit anyone in a different colored jersey. So at these joint practices, the trash talking is at an all-time high, the testosterone is flowing, and sometimes the itch to dominate your opponent is just a little too strong. And before you know it, then you find yourself with a skirmish like the one we saw here. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. The only issue I had with what happened on Wednesday is that unfortunately things spilled over into the crowd, and there was a woman that sustained some minor injuries doing all of this.
It's just,
that's
it
not-
just
that's
never
not right.
seems that deep to me, you know?
I think Jalen's right. You get a bunch of athletes all hyped up about the game, and they talk so much mess on that field.
Ridiculous.
Pro footballs. If you ever listen to behind the scenes microphones and stuff, it's amazing the trash talk.
But aren't they also taught to, you know, stay focused, you know, ignore the
Try.
noise as well? Because isn't the point of the other team to try to get you off your game anyway?
Right, but another thing is, right, so imagine OTAs, that starts around April, May, right? So that's all your team. And then you get a little break during June, and then July comes back around, and early August, and it's training camp, and you're still only hitting your team. And when you're in those controlled settings, you know, you're trying not to hurt anybody. You're not going full speed for most case scenarios. So these are the first times that guys are actually able to go full speed for 8 to 10 months, and things just boil over pretty much every year.
Do they face any consequences from coach at all?
It just depends on the team. I'd imagine, you know, there's going to be a stern talking to, and you know,
Right.
about discipline and the
Run
things that we need
laps
to
or
do.
something.
Exactly, something minor.
Yeah.
Because again, the biggest issue here is that this spilled over into the crowd, and then that's where the real problem lies. If this would have been in the middle of the field, they'd have been able to break it up and go about their day as normal.
But if they were in a game-like setting, they would get some type of
Yeah,
fine or an
absolutely.
actual
For
consequence.
real.
Yeah.
Real quick, didn't DJ Moore jump up and stop some?
Yeah, it was a couple guys, you know,
At Fan
some
Fest.
guys are,
Yeah, Fan Fest.
that was in Fan Fest, but there's some guys that are more into it than others, of course. And, you know, there's guys that play in the peacemaker role, you're trying to be responsible team leaders, but there are a lot of guys that get a little hot on the collar underneath that helmet. So
Yeah, that's right.
I don't want to be near that.
All right.
All right, well, don't forget tonight's game is on our air, and it will cause some programming changes. Wheel of Fortune will now air at 10 p.m., followed by Jeopardy at 10:30, and that is our lead-in for WFMY News 2 at 11 and Friday Football Fever. We hope to see you then. We'll be right back.
Just like that. Oh, Lord.
You are so cool.
You are, no, dude, you are
so
cool.
cool.
You are cool. I try to emulate Jalen. Nah, dude,
Love Fest. It's a Love Fest over here, Facebook. What do you think?
All right, so I want you to kind of conjure up an image in your mind when I say these jobs, or you could just use the ones that we've provided here. Hairstylist, right? A wrestling hype man, and a TV host. You don't think all those, they look vastly different probably in your mind, but the gentleman I met today, he's all three of those wrapped up in one big ball of personality. We met Bradley Tuggle in the wrestling ring to talk about his unusual path in life and where it's taken him to today. All right, so first question is, how do you mix all that stuff together? Bradley, you said it all started with the salon, right?
Yes, sir. I was a hairdresser. My grandmother was a stylist. My brother's a stylist. I became a stylist, and I've loved it ever since the day I started.
And you've been doing it how long? How many years?
Probably 25 years now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And then how did that branch into, because I can't imagine, you go from being a stylist, now you're on QVC and home shopping.
Right.
How'd that come about?
Well, I work for a hair care company named Chi. Farouk Shami is the owner and founder of Chi, and he presented me with the opportunity to work for HSN and QVC, and it's been an amazing opportunity. TV camera trained, ready to go.
That's crazy.
Yes.
So you travel from, and where do you live? Where are you based out of?
I'm based out of Greensboro, North Carolina, but I've worked in hair shows at every major city across the globe. And
on QVC too. Now, all of this, how did this come about? Because this is crazy.
Well, I got a couple friends. Vicky Guerrero, Ref Aubrey kind of did an interview with me. I started off with them, and my buddy Cozone, who I worked with years ago, asked me to come aboard for Firestar Pro Wrestling, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
So is it like a regional wrestling?
Yes, regional. Greensboro is a heart and soul of professional wrestling. And what we like to do is just kind of carry that tradition on and keep the tradition strong.
And your character's name is?
The Showcase.
The Showcase. And what's he all about?
The Showcase is a manager. He's a hype man. He comes out, he gets the crowd to boo him. And I absolutely love being booed, not cheered.
That's fun.
Good times.
All right, can you turn into Showcase for us?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go do it.
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Showcase.
That's right, baby. You are looking at the Showcase live and in living color. Whether you're hitting play, whether you're hitting DVR, rewind it, pause it, ladies, because I know you're at home thinking to yourself, look at this man. Because when I tell you the Showcase is in the building, you might need a glass of water. Simmer down, ladies, because this is what it's all about right here.
Oh, no.
Showcase, brother. And I'm telling you, when we take care of business, nobody does it like us.
You gotta give me a wrestling name, Showcase. What am I?
And I would say Easy-E.
I like it.
Easy-E.
Not the rapper.
Easy-E for Eric. Easy-E, the Storm Chaser, baby.
Storm Chaser, I like
That's it. You like that?
Woo! The smoke got me.
Oh my
and then the smoke got me.
Wow.
Easy-E, the Storm Chaser. He is so funny. So Bradley is like literally on QVC, Home Shopping Network, does the wrestling thing, travels all around. He has a brand new, a 2022 white Corvette. It is beautiful. And he has a fake license plate that he puts on it just when he parks it at the shows. And it says Showcase, North Carolina.
We need to get him to make us like a 4 to 5 open.
Yes, yes.
That would be fun.
It's a very good idea.
We only use it on Fridays though, right?
That's right. At the end of the show, we'll do a close. Yes.
Wow, I mean, so cool. And how talented to be able to move from one thing to the next.
And he says, he literally travels. I think QVC, he was telling me, is in the Northeast. Home Shopping Network is in Florida. So he's traveling between there, working for the client, that product line that he represents. And then local and regional wrestling matches. And he says he does some regional traveling with that. And then the salon is his base. I mean, that's where he's got 5 or 6 stylists in his salon. So that guy's doing great. I will tell you, check out the web story on WFNYnews2.com because I have links to his salon, but also the wrestling thing because they have a big event at that place where we were. That's in Jamestown. And that is Saturday after next at 7 p.m. And they got all these like regional wrestlers. I'd love to go see this because these are amateurs trying to be professional.
Right. You need to get a band back together and you can call yourselves Easy-E and the Storm Chasers.
And the Storm Chasers.
That's great.
I like it.
We got to talk movies now, right? Manning?
Yes, Manning is here, our own personal movie critic, and he's answering you all in the chat, and the viewers, they're loving you. They got lots of questions. What are you seeing right now?
Well, first off, I'm feeling the love, and I thank y'all for that. But one of the ones that I actually asked in the chat real quickly was, what is your favorite sports movie? And Curtis really got me thinking, and I wanted to ask that to the chat. We got some great responses from Bobby. His was The Longest Yard. Nancy said Field of Dreams. Melita said Rudy. So some really great movies. We're really running the gamut. We talked about Christmas, we talked about sports, and horror, of course. So lots of questions.
And you got one comment. Someone said, I don't really watch a lot of movies. I pretty much just watch sports and ESPN all day. What kind of perspective would you give to someone like that?
Yes. So it's difficult rushing into a film when you don't know like what you're getting. It's like, okay, what is this? But films, to start off by trying to find a particular hobby you're interested in. You said to me, true crime.
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of crime movies out there, but to hone in on one you've heard people talking about, ask your friends, and then hone in on one particular movie that has something to do with an interest that you have. I think that would be the best entryway into the world of movies if you haven't watched one in a long time.
All right, so I got to ask you before we go to the
Please.
break, what is the worst movie that you've ever seen?
No. Okay.
Ever in life? 'Cause you've seen a lot of movies.
Listen, movies are, it is hard to make a movie. It is hard to make a movie, and I begrudge no one if they don't make a,
We want to hear it.
Okay, it's easily The Room. Have y'all seen The Room with Tommy Wiseau where he's like, oh, hi,
I
Mark,
have
you
not
haven't?
seen that.
Okay, look it up. It's
now I wanna
hilarious.
see it.
It's really bad. It's really bad, but it's so bad it's good, maybe.
All right, Manning, this has been a lot of fun, and you're going to get this weekly, so we'll see you right after this break.
The car company Dodge and the Challenger as we know it are coming to an end. The brand is moving away from gas-guzzling muscle cars and onto energy-efficient electric vehicles. The company showcased the concept for its future Charger, Daytona SRT. It features a multi-speed transmission, but some say it still has that signature roar of the engine that buyers love. I'll let you decide. Take a listen. Yeah, it sounds a little fake to me. Dodge didn't say how much the car will cost, but it does go on sale in 2 years. And you brought up a good question. How do you make that sound with an electric engine?
I agree with you. It's like there's this weird high pitch something or another mixed in there. I'm sure it's the electric engine. But that's what I watched the whole presentation of this thing, and the guy was like, that famous sound is there, but it sounded too high pitched to me. I was like, he's got a weed eater in there or something. I don't know. It did not sound like that deep muscle, but the car itself, I loved it.
Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful.
I drive up and down Wendover and Summit enough to know what a Dodge Challenger sounds like when they're revving the engine, and that's
they're
not
gonna make
it.
sure you know
You hear it.
Right.
what they sound like.
I know they said the battery life on this thing, don't quote me, I think it was 600 miles, which is really good. I think that's right. And I thought to myself, and that's like my car only goes 450 miles, I think, on a fill up or something like that. So the length is pretty good. But the interior, I was telling Chad, it's got LED lights hidden behind panels, and it'll do like a wave of color that goes to the steering wheel. It's so cool.
Nice.
That's wild.
Must be nice. That's
I want to know what
pretty cool. Yeah, that's what I said. Must be nice.
Right, yeah.
Prices.
I'm looking forward to more EV charging stations popping up because I mean you can't just get that one and live anywhere, right? Like you have to have a home that has like the outlet and all that. So
You got to plan your trip.
Yep, absolutely.
Accordingly, too.
Right.
So, interesting. All right, so all that car talk got me thinking. So I asked you on Facebook, what's your favorite memory with your favorite car? Everybody had that favorite car growing up, or even as an adult. Michael Lee said cruising the route on Summit Avenue in Bessemer, Mickey D's, Hot Shop, and down to Monroe's in a 68 GTO in the 1970s. Jan Bailey said cruising on Stratford Road, and that would be in Winston-Salem. Frank says the car was an Oldsmobile 98, so the back seat was like the size of my couch there. Huge. Huge. That's the old boat cars from back then.
Oh, you forgot the end of it. It says,
I decided to leave that out. I put everybody in parentheses. I said PG, please.
Right.
Because you know, if you don't put that.
You're
And
right.
still, and even if you do put it, they're still
Favorite car you've ever owned? Your current one or no?
You got a nice one now.
I think that probably my first car was the worst car I ever owned, but it was also my favorite because it was my first car. It was the car that I bought with my own money. It was a white Ford Escort hatchback. It was a piece of junk, but I loved it, and I loved tooling the strip in my hometown. We had one strip, very small town, and you just drive up back and forth like everybody else.
That's right.
I've only had 2 cars, and the car I have now was my first car that I bought myself, my first real adult purchase, so I'm really proud of that. But the car I had before that was a Toyota Corolla, and we have been through some things. We went through a couple accidents together that were not my fault, but it was just a reliable car. It was good on gas, and it was the car I learned how to drive in and all that, but may she rest in peace.
My sister made me learn how to drive a stick because she said you never know. So, and I ended up, my first car was a Volkswagen Rabbit, white. It was the ugliest car in the world, but I, so like you, loved that car. Learned how to drive a stick in it, stripped the gears all over the place, but I finally figured it out, and a lot of memories, with that one.
And it doesn't have to be a super fancy, expensive car for you to love it. It's just a sense of pride.
Did you name it?
I did not name that one.
I don't think that one had a name either.
Yeah, I don't think I did either. A lot of people do, though.
Yeah.
Let us know on Facebook. Let us know what you think. We'll be back.
Yeah, we had been through some things together.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Hello, it's your friendly neighborhood weatherman reporting for duty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hi there, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm wearing a mask, sorry. 2, 3, 4.
Hey, mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check.
Starts coming out around like 5:30, I would say.
Hey there, it's time for my 2 cents, and today I want to talk about something that technically started last night, although it's still going on tonight. Shameless self-promotion. Friday football fever. That's right, high school football is back, and it brings back so many memories for me. I don't know about you, but I grew up in a small town in Mount Airy, and when the first high school football game at home hit, it was the biggest social event of the week, sometimes for the first 3 weeks, actually. It was great. It's probably 50% game, 50% social. And when I was little, like in elementary school, I only lived a block and a half from the high school. So we'd walk down there. My friends and I would throw football behind the bleachers and chase the girls around and go get our hot dogs and fries. It's just great memories of growing up. And it's a piece of Americana. I mean, that's what high school football is. Some states, like Texas, it's gigantic. But even for us in North Carolina, it's a big deal. And it's as much social as anything. When you look at the games now, you see the high school kids all hanging out together, watching the game and pulling your team on. It just brings back so many memories. And for me, since I did live only a block and a half from the high school, if I didn't have tickets to the game as a little kid, I used to walk out in the front yard and I could hear the stadium announcer calling the game. It would echo up the hill to my house. Ironically now, I live directly behind the high school that my kids go to, and it's the same thing. We could sit out on our driveway and listen to the announcer calling the game. It's a piece of my childhood and now adulthood. All of us should support those schools. Football is back. Get out there, support your local schools, and have a great time. And remember, it's a part of growing up. That's just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
A somber and moving scene in Wake County. Hundreds of law enforcement officials lining the way as a Wake County deputy was laid to rest.
Those included law enforcement members from here in the Triad, all there to pay tribute to K-9 deputy